Hey, freedom lovers, we've got some big wins to talk about. States are finally pushing back against the gun control agenda, and this week, Florida and Texas just raised the bar. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a sweeping pro-gun bill into law, and in Texas, they're about to legalize short-barreled rifles and pass an anti-red flag law that tells the feds, take a hike. Before I get into the details, today's video is brought to you by Blackout Coffee. If you support the Constitution and love a bold brew, then check us out. American-owned, small family-owned, pro-Second Amendment, and proud of it. I drink it every morning before diving into these stories, and you should probably check them out too. It gives me a good kick. Use the link down below to support the channel and your caffeine fix. It's blackoutcoffee.com/GNG, and I'll give you a code to save some money. It's GNG10. Thanks for your support. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just signed a huge pro-gun bill into law, HB 6025. And folks, this is what actual leadership looks like. Now, I know right away, everybody in Florida is like, hey man, what about our open carry or red flags and all the other stuff, that Marjorie Stoneham Douglas kind of took from us. I get you, but a win is a win. We can't have it all at once. We'd like to, so let's grab this one while we can. Now, this law repeals a provision of Florida state law that automatically imposed firearm-related restrictions during a local state of emergency. Now, when Floridians most need the ability to defend themselves, their families, and their property, the Florida statute strictly prohibited it, which is ridiculous. Previously, state law required that during an emergency arising from a threat of violence or public disorder, which was an easy threshold to meet, that the following would be prohibited: the sale or the display for sale of firearms or ammunition. Well, that effectively shut down the Second Amendment. It also prohibited the intentional possession of a firearm in a public place if you weren't a cop or someone in the military. Yeah, that's removing the Second Amendment. That's unconstitutional and illegal. And the Florida state law allows local officials like sheriffs, chiefs of police, and mayors to declare a local state of emergencies in certain situations. This can involve riots or in other incidents where many people are breaking the law at once or posing a risk to other people and property. Like I said, easy threshold to meet. But HB 6025 took effect upon being signed. And as a result, those prohibitions no longer apply in such an emergency. So the next time you have a hurricane in Florida, which is probably this afternoon, you can still defend yourself without worrying if some rogue cop was going to jam you up for exercising a right that Florida didn't give you. Now, that's a win. Now, meanwhile, in Texas, Governor Abbott has two pieces of legislation on his desk right now waiting to be signed. Now, the first bill that the Texas legislature passed is SB 1596. This is a major win for NFA freedom. Yeah, everybody's just perked up a little bit, right? What this bill does is it legalizes short-barreled rifles and short-barreled shotguns under Texas law as long as you comply with federal registration. That's the part I hate. I will say that if we get the Senate to include the SHORT Act into the budget bill right now, this will change and will change big, because how can you comply with an illegal federal NFA registry if it's removed? So that should take care of that right away. Now, it also removes state-level penalties and restrictions on ownership of these firearms, just like it's supposed to be, shall not be infringed. Here's the significance. For decades, the federal government has criminalized short-barreled rifles as if they're some sort of gang weapon, all based on the barrel length. Think of how insane that is. Like, that's what they did in response to Al Capone. Now, this is Texas saying, if you legally own an SBR or SBS, we're not going to treat you like a criminal. It's just that simple. It's also a jab at the ATF's overreach on pistol braces. Remember, they tried to turn millions of law-abiding gun owners into felons overnight. Remember that? Well, this law shows that Texas won't play ball. And while we're talking about Texas, let's not skip over what might be the most important bill of all for them. It's Senate Bill 1362, the anti-red flag law. Here's what that means. Texas would ban any enforcement of any red flag law, whether it comes from DC or elsewhere. Law enforcement officers cannot confiscate firearms based on anonymous accusations or secret court orders. The bill emphasizes due process, constitutional protections, and the Second Amendment. Red flag laws have been weaponized across the country. No warrant, no hearing, just a knock on your door at 5 a.m. to take your guns because someone had a concern. And this bill puts an end to that in Texas. It protects the presumption of innocence. It protects your right to due process, and it tells the federal agents that Texas will not be their enforcers. And let's be real, guys. This week reinforced something huge. The states are the last line of defense. Well, we're the last line of defense, but the states are just before us. And here's what you should take away from all this. Number one, states can nullify federal overreach. The 10th Amendment still matters. Number two, your rights shouldn't depend on a bureaucrat's whim. Texas is saying no to federal targeting of lawful gun owners over barrel lengths or red flag accusations. And number three, this is what winning looks like. But only if we keep fighting, and only if we stay involved and make our voices heard. These wins didn't happen overnight, and they didn't happen on their own. They happened because gun owners stayed vocal, stayed organized, and didn't back down. These laws protect not just the Second Amendment, but they protect your home, your family, and your dignity as a free American. Imagine that. If you live in Florida or Texas, maybe call your reps and thank them. Every now and then, when they do something right, give them an attaboy. Because Lord knows we want to burn the system down when they do something wrong. Let them know you've got their back. Because believe me, anti-gunners are already organizing to attempt to undo these wins. If you live in a blue state, send these laws to your state lawmakers and ask them why they're not doing the same for you. Why are they working against your rights while other states are stepping up? If you're tired of the lies, the fear-mongering, and the constant attacks on your rights, this channel is your home. Subscribe now and join the fight. I break these stories down as they happen with the facts that the media ignores and the passion that liberty deserves. And don't forget, support companies that support you. Blackout Coffee is where I get my daily fuel, and we support the Second Amendment in a big way. Grab a bag using the link below and save some with the code I gave you as well. Stay armed, stay free, stay American. Take care.